the Rangers Journal Night.
Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending when you're watching this. Welcome to the Rangers Journal. This is the Lowdown, brought to you by Off to the Match I Go. Makes a bespoke footballing memorabilia. You can go to their website. You can get all sorts of exciting gift options with the option of getting 10% off by typing in Journal10 at their website, which you can see scrolling on the bottom. You can scan the QR code on screen to jump directly to the site to have a look at their stuff. But before you do that, let's get through what we're looking at today, which is our upcoming opponents, Motherwell, in the Premier League. Barry Ferguson's first home game. Sure to be a great atmosphere at the match today for Barry's return. And looking at the form of the two teams, we can see some mixed results for both sides. Obviously, Rangers' last handful of matches include the two games that led to Clermont's defeat, the losses to Queen's Park and St Mirren, and amongst games against Ross County and Hearts, which mixed performances in comparison there, and then the Kelly game most recently, which was again more of really the same of what we've seen in per first half, followed by a better second half. However, the second half I think was a step up in comparison to the improvements we've seen before. Before we maybe improved, but still toiled. Whereas in that game we improved and were able to dominate. So hopefully that's a positive sign moving forward. Motherwell have not had the greatest form. They managed to win their most recent game against Dundee. Before that, they've lost 4 games in a row. Still trying to rediscover form after getting their new manager with Emma into play. He's still embedding his new philosophy into the Motherwell team, as Barry is doing with Rangers. In terms of their league positions, Rangers still sitting second with 59 points after 28 games. Goals for of 58 against the 24. While Motherwell sit in the bottom half of the table in 8th position, 34 points, and a goal difference of negative 15. In terms of what to expect from this Motherwell team, they obviously are a team in transition with their new manager. They've been tending to play a kind of a 3-5-2, 3-4-1-2 kind of formation, and that can move even more to have B4 at the back when they're trying to be a bit more solid off the ball. Vimmer, when he's been interviewed, has talked about looking to be proactive off the ball, looking to dominate where they can and win high balls, while aiming to be a dynamic team that is goal-orientated, since they haven't scored the most amount of goals this season. He's looking for his team to play with intensity, so they may well come and try and play a high-pressure game. And they make quick passes into their wide areas and get numbers into their box in order to receive crosses from those spots. So that could cause us some problems with the sort of the fragility our defence has been in lately. So the defence is going to need to be on top of its game to defend those balls in. But again, a lot of the teams that have been playing with 3 at the back this season, they can be exposed vertically. That is something that we should be able to get joy with the players that we have. So again, that's something I'd be looking for us to do, using those vertical balls, get our wingers running in and expose those spaces left slightly wide as the 3-man defence narrow off or push up. And that, I think, where we can get joy against this team. Looking into the danger men of the team, obviously I've pointed out some of the players in our earlier matches that we've done Lowdown for. Lennon Milner obviously being probably the best player and a creative player with a lot of interest in him. So I'll not cover him again. This time I decided to cover a defender, Dan Casey. He's been playing quite well for them. He's been kind of pushed out to the side slightly in their 3. But he is sort of weighing in. He's got 3 goals and 2 assists from defence, which is a really good turnaround for a defender. Something that our defenders have not been doing this season, apart from James Tavernier and more recently Proper, who's chipped in with 2. But in general, our defenders are not getting enough goals or assists. He's done that from 24 matches. He's also created 10 chances for his team. Again, it's a solid number for a defender. With 76% tackles won. Obviously looking to have the highest points can with that. So a decent a solid defender for them. We also, provides creative output. So providing a balance of defensive action and offensive um, help as well. And then a player obviously known very well to Rangers, who does have a tendency to play well against us, is Andy Halliday. He's got 3 goals and 2 assists as well from his 28 matches. Dribble success and pass accuracy, both of 73%. Since that, Andy there, say a fan favourite. Never the greatest player, but a solid player. Die-hard Rangers fan. Very popular, I think, among a lot of the fan base. And like I say, he does have a tendency to play well against us. He's obviously scored against us this season. And he'll bring his best to the game, and with the expectation that Rangers will do the same. And so, he's a good person to level some standards against in terms of putting your all into a match. Because I think a few of our players could learn a little bit about that from a player like Halliday. In terms of our 11, I don't think we'll see major changes. Still, we're still quite early in the tenure of Barry Ferguson. He's still only had a short period of time. I do think we may potentially see Enciala getting given a little bit of a breather. He's had 2 tough games now. Obviously, the previous one he was taken off very early. So he may look to just sort of shelter him a little bit, take him off. You could bring in Fernandez. We still need to see a bit more of him so that we can make a decision as to what we want to do long term in terms of potentially buying him. So you could bring him in, play him alongside Proper instead, and give us, a glimpse of the alternative young player that we have available. Well, that could depend on the fitness of players like Suter and Balogun, who are both meant to be back in training now. So maybe he'll rest them, put them in, although there's not really any need to. Or, of course, the other option is he could opt to continue playing James Tavernier as a centre back beside Proper and bring Yilmaz back in, like he did in the second part of that game. Yilmaz obviously will hopefully be feeling confident after setting up one of the goals in that previous game, so that's another option as well. But I'd quite like to see Fernandez get his opportunity. As I say, we do need to see a bit more of him if we're going to decide what we want to do. In terms of the attack, I think you might see Dessers coming in. He obviously played well in the previous game and got 2 goals. So he's obviously pushing. Eggman has had a little bit of a dry spot, so perhaps it's time to potentially either give him a rest or just, let's say, maybe take a bit of pressure off him by having Dessers on the field as well. The 2 of them can work well together. So I'll put Dessers in, coming in off the back of his impressive performance and 2 goals for the match. And I've selected Dessers as our potential game changer. So he did look confident in that previous game, back scoring goals when he's making appearances. He's 10 league goals now, and he's over 20, or almost over 20 league goals overall. Another really good performance in terms of those numbers this season. He's not going to finish the season with high numbers. He's got a couple of assists in there as well. 2 league assists, I think about 4 more in other competitions. So, for all the faults and occasional bigger games and the shots that he misses, he does still obviously convert good numbers. And I feel like, if he was a bit younger, a bit cheaper, he'd be a perfect player to have in the rotation. Given his age and the high cost, it's probably still right that we're going to look to move him on, particularly given that there is value in him still to other teams. So we could get a few million for him, which will obviously help in terms of replacements. But I do think Dessers gets a little bit more grief than he does deserve slightly if it wasn't for the fact that the wingers and the midfielders chipped in general so few goals, with the exception of Cherney. There wouldn't be so much pressure on Dessers to be getting all the goals and scoring every chance he gets. But he's another player who's always there, always puts in a good effort, I think, and he's always available, which is a big plus because you obviously know how difficult we've had it with injuries lately, and so to have a player that is always available and relatively reliable is a big positive to the team. So predictions for the game, I'm going to hopefully say that in this game with Barry Ferguson returning to Ibrox, I think we'll get a good crowd in. I think they'll be in good voice, they'll be in good spirits with welcoming Barry and the team back to Ibrox. It's Armed Forces Day. It's also James Tavernier's 500th match if he plays, which I'm sure he will. So there's lots to celebrate, lots to feel good about. So I think the fans will be really on board. If we can start off well, then get the fans going, maybe get an early goal, I feel like it could be a game that we grow into and the team grow into, feeding off the fans' energy. So I'm going to put it down to 4-1. I do think with Motherwell building in the box and their balls in, and given our defensive issues, that they will maybe get a goal in there somewhere. Who knows? It might even be a classic. They score first and then we'll come back. But as I say, I think this could hopefully be a decent game. We'll find a little bit of our feet back in the home ground with the good voices of Ibrox behind us. So I'll put 4-1 as an optimistic and hopeful outcome for the game, rather than it being, say, a 2-1 slog or something like that. So, Barry Ferguson returning to Ibrox, as I say, an exciting day. The team played really well in that second half against Kilmarnock, so that's what we want to see continue. Hopefully that will be the case. You want to stick on the Rangers Journal, we do have pre- and post-match pods that will be available for the game, as well as content obviously following in the week to come. So do like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video and you want to get more of our content into your feed. You can click the bell button and it will notify you anytime we release new content or go live. Thank you for watching this today. My name has been Doug. This is the Rangers Journal, and do remember that every night is Rangers Journal night.